Being the parent of like a little kid, I think has gotten a lot harder than when I was raising my daughter. She's 23 now, and man, I got to tell you, the decisions you have to make and the things you have to monitor and protect your children from today has gotten a lot harder. What do you give them that's still entertaining, but also aligns with your values? You know, we've talked about WayFM being a product that you don't have to filter, but like if you got Netflix in your house, you got to have the filter on.
And even Disney Plus, you have the same problem.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, Disney Plus has been disappointing to me as a parent. And some of the things they've chose to put on there, and like you got to watch it, you know? And that's why it's so nice to have something. If I was raising little kids, I would do PureFlix subscription, man, because you've got content on there that you're not having to filter out. And as a parent, I mean, I know we want to be involved in our kids' lives, but sometimes you need to park them in front of the TV and take 10 minutes to yourself. That's why PureFlix is a great option for families. You got family stuff, obviously. They're even dabbling in some drama. Yes, and PureFlix originals. Like I saw the movie on their Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, and I have to tell you,
you cried.
I did. There was 3 times, not once, 3 times.
I did.
I wept, and I was moved, and it was a great movie. And I think if I was raising my child now, I think PureFlix would be definitely a part of my family's entertainment plan.
So if you'd like to try PureFlix, text PURE, that's PURE, to 91979 to get your 1-week free trial. Faith and family entertainment with no ads on your favorite devices.
Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. I am back and on fire today. Woo!
He's had 20 pieces of taffy.
I did. I started early today. I went to Buc-ee's, by the way, and brought the gang some taffy and some beaver nuggets.
Did you get yourself another bag?
I did. I did.
Then you also have had a Coke with no ice.
Yeah, feels good. McDonald's, that's your fault because I wasn't going to do that today, but you
That is
insisted.
my fault.
You own that. Yeah. Well, I'm back from vacation, and I got to tell you, like, I had a 5-day vacation, so I was off all last week, and it felt like 100 days. Like I felt like I've been off for a long time.
But doesn't
like
that
in a
feel
good way.
Good?
Yeah, like in a good way. I didn't do a ton of work. I stayed up on my emails and stuff, so I wouldn't be buried with that when I got back. But like, it was good. And it was funny because at the time, though, it seemed like it was going fast. Like by the time we got to doing the fun stuff we were going to do, that stuff didn't start till Tuesday, you know, and we had traveled and we spent time at my mom's house on Saturday or on Sunday rather. And so Sunday and Monday we're just kind of hanging out, and it was good though. Like it felt good. I was like, oh man, I needed that little break. And but by the same token, I was still like, oh man, I can't wait to get back to work. I still love this. Betty's like, I've never had that feeling.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I still love doing this. So. I'm back. We'll do a Slippity slideshow tomorrow where I've got some pictures. One of them is a video of my mom on a ride at Disney, which was really funny. And so I'll share some of that stuff and the stories, and we'll do that live tomorrow at I guess 10:05 Central Time. So you can watch
we'll
along.
Put out a reminder.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So here are some of the things that we didn't get to. There's this one family that they are doing something kind of interesting, and I don't think a lot of people could commit to this. They have, for more than 7 decades, one family has upheld this tradition of passing down the same wedding dress, and they're continuing that custom. They're preserving it for each new generation, and overall, 8 brides have worn that same dress.
Dang.
And it was from 1950. It cost about $100 back then, and it was like from Marshall Field's department store, and it's white satin and lace, and it looks like something you would have seen in the 50s, but not like a great picture from the 50s. Like sometimes 50s photos look timeless, and they're so like amazing and nostalgic.
But this one's ugly.
It's not a good looking dress.
And people have been getting married in said dress for 70 years.
Yeah. Now, like you're really close with your mom, and say this had been a tradition, and your mom wore, her mom's wedding dress, who wore her mom's wedding dress. Gavin, would you do? No, Betty, would you do that?
I would delicately say that I will, but I will need to make some major adjustments to it.
Yeah.
And maybe like cut off the sleeves that are as big as my head, or cut off some of the lace that's like huge in the background. Like I would make it my own.
What if that upset her?
Right, because these women aren't doing that. Like they can't do that. They're keeping it as is.
Well, then I would delicately have to remind my mother that it is my wedding and not hers.
Oh, Bridezilla already.
That's not a Bridezilla move.
Yes.
No, it's not.
If you've got a family tradition and you're going to be the one that breaks it,
You're just trying to play devil's advocate. But if you were in my spot, you would do the very same thing.
I think you would be radiant in whatever dress you wore. I don't think the dress is the problem. And so
it's your inner.
It's your attitude is really the problem, I think.
No, I think anyone would understand. Like if Marty told Haley, I want you to wear my dress and you cannot alter it.
Love it. I would be all about that.
You would tell Haley as she's sitting there crying, saying, "Dad, the puffy sleeves and the long lace sleeves, the lace train." And the big poof on top of my head, I will be the laughing stock of the community.
I'd be like, you're never going to see these photos again. After you look at them the first couple years of your marriage, you never look at them again. It's fine. You even take the one down that you have hanging on the wall.
No, you wouldn't.
Tradition.
You would tell Marty, this is not your wedding. This is Haley's.
See, I do see both sides of it. Like, I see people saying just that. Like, hey, it's my wedding. I've been dreaming about this day. Why am I saddled with this dress that I don't like? What I would do is I would gain some weight because they don't want to alter this dress.
Oh, no.
And then that way I'm like, I don't want to hurt this dress for other generations. I can't fit in it, so I'm going to wear this other tacky new dress from Kleinfeld's.
Wow, that is a very cowardly way to approach the situation.
Okay, I like that. I'm a coward. I get that. I don't want to hurt people's
putting
feelings.
Weight on is cowardly.
Yeah, it's
bold
because you know how long it takes to get off.
How is it that you can approach someone and just just be on the tail end of a hissy fit with pretty much anything, but when it comes to the women in your life, you get more like
I'm scared of them. I don't want to hurt them,
They're fragile little flowers.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a cool tradition, but I don't think it's fair to impose it on everybody, where you put that pressure on them. If they want to, then fine, but did you ever see that one wedding dress show? This was actually a cool idea. So they take a wedding dress that the mom wants the daughter to wear, and just like you're saying, they have a designer come in, Rock, and she alters the dress and cuts off sleeves and adds new lace and does this and makes it a modern version of that original dress. And they also go shopping and find a new dress. And so then the bride gets to choose between the nostalgia and the new version of the old dress or just getting a new dress.
I don't think it has to be a black or white situation. It can be a gray. Just move some of the old in with the new. Like I had a friend of mine that she took her mom's wedding dress from the 70s and she wore it in 2010 or whatever it was. But she cut the sleeves off. She added a ribbon or something somewhere and she made it her own. She modernized it. And so I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's what this show did, and I thought it was an interesting show, like how they did it. But it was weird. I thought a lot of people would have then opted for the nostalgia. And it's new. It's a new version of the old dress, and it'll make my mom happy. I'm going to do this. Very few people took that option. Most people were like, that's so pretty. I love it. That's such a neat way to redesign my mom's dress. I'm getting this one over here. And they'd get the new one.
And I tell you what it is. It's the people that find themselves on TV. They're looking to stand out already. Yeah. And you can't stand out in a dress that is just normal.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, though. Anyway.
Did my story just make you really tired?
Bored? I'm actually going to the doctor today because I have my yearly checkup, and one of the things I'm going to ask him, I got to check my blood iron levels or something. I'm getting wicked tired, and I know I came off vacation, so I was going, but the other day I was at my house in the afternoon. I was thankful I wasn't driving, and I was falling. I mean, I almost couldn't keep my head up. I was so tired, and I'm like, what is going on? So I'm going to ask him, do I have any iron deficiencies? I'm probably just bored with Betty's story. He's gonna write me a prescription to not listen to Betty.
It's funny. I'll get the same prescription, but from my doctor.
Find more interesting friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's your problem right there. Oh man. This was a weird story out of Russia. There's this lady, she's a singer. She's older, but she's been like kind of a iconic Russian singer, kind of like our Dolly Parton, if you will, like everybody loves her. And she told the Soviet Times, their newspaper, that she wanted to be placed on Russia's foreign agents list in solidarity with her husband, who has been designated as one. Now, the foreign agents list, it seems like, oh, that's a cool list. No, it's a bad list in Russia, because they basically are saying that you are, an enemy of the state kind of thing. And they placed her husband on this list because he's a TV personality and a singer, and he was critical of the war in Ukraine. That's the thing, man. They are locking people up in prison for just speaking out against the war. And I know we get frustrated with everything that we have here, and sometimes we get really mad at freedom of speech because it includes things you don't want to hear from people. But boy, howdy, it's such a part of our lives. I mean, imagine if you couldn't criticize the president. Imagine if you couldn't criticize the work being done on anything for fear of going to prison for your opinion. Mm-hmm. That's next level messed up,
I'm confused on why she wants to be added.
Out of solidarity. She's making a point. Her husband was already added officially, and so she's like, if you're going to add him, add me, And so she's just trying to raise awareness for this, because Russia is struggling a little bit now in the war in Ukraine, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I saw that, was it last week, that Ukraine had taken a stronghold back?
Yeah, they did.
A strong standing point back, at least.
They had a counteroffensive in Ukraine and managed to recapture 2,300 square miles of territory from Russia in Kharkiv. And so, that was a big deal, and it forced Russian troops to retreat, which they called regrouping. And some military analysts are being cautious, but they're saying this counteroffensive could mark a turning point in this war, where, honestly, I got to tell you, I thought this was going to be 3 weeks and out, and Russia was going to dominate. And it's been so amazing to see that hasn't been the story, and the resilience of the Ukraine people is amazing. Mm-hmm. I watch a lot of horrible reality TV shows, and one of them is 90 Day Fiancé. Mm-hmm. And there's a girl who is, I think she's from Czechoslovakia, but they have a place, her mom has a place that she lives in Ukraine. And all these reality shows are shot months ago, and so she's talking about going to Ukraine to see her family. She hasn't seen them in so long. And the mother-in-law is like, you don't want to do that. Things are really heating up over there. It's like, it's not a good time. Right. Russian forces are on the border. This is back before they invaded. And so it's interesting to see people's mindset at the time. So you got people that live in Ukraine, and they're going, it's not that bad. We've had tensions kind of for years off and on. They're never going to attack. It's okay. I can go back home and see my family. But then you flash forward to what happened. The unimaginable happened. And it's just interesting to see it in retrospect, seeing what someone thought at the time versus what's really going on now. And they were, obviously now they're probably stunned and super glad they didn't go back to Ukraine because of the mess that it's been in. But hopefully Ukraine will be able to liberate itself from Russia in as short an amount of time as possible. Lady Rock, what do you got?
I have some news, some rumored news.
Oh, I love rumors. I love rumors and news.
Spill the tea.
Yes.
Tom Hanks and Tim Allen were seen out in public. Wow.
I mean, it's
happy.
I'm excited.
We're seen out in public eating breakfast together.
What?
So
reunion.
The reunion, the I was going to say not the
rumors.
Reunion, the rumors are that there could be a reunion. There could be another Toy Story.
I don't think we need another Toy Story movie, per se. But having those two back for some... Because it's hard to say reunion when I think the last Toy Story movie was 2 or 3 years ago. So it doesn't feel like it's been 20 years. Though I wouldn't risk 20 years with
but
them
are
being...
years for humans the same for toys?
Yeah. I just watched I watched one of the original Toy Stories, and I think the first two were fantastic. 3 with the bear and the preschool felt like it was getting to like, okay, we're kind of at the end of this. And then the 4th one where Woody goes off on his own and Bo Peep and the creepy marionette, like the ventriloquist dummies, like that one felt like, okay, I think we're done here.
That one felt unnecessary
to
me.
Exactly. So they would have to either go back somehow and really recapture the magic from 1 and 2 to make it worth doing, or just, I would say, just don't do it at this point. I don't know if they could ever do that.
Also, too, I feel like, and I've read this before, too, that Hollywood seems to just keep redoing things.
Sure.
Like they can't come up with new...
Fast and Furious 18.
They can't come up with new ideas.
Yeah.
Everything's been done. But anyways, I don't know. The rumors are starting that there could be something in the works.
They also probably worked together for like 2 decades and could totally just be enjoying a nice
hanging out
meal together.
Yeah. But we're gonna rumor it up.
Yeah, that's too boring.
Have either of you seen Pinocchio on Disney Plus with Tom Hanks?
No. I don't love the original story of Pinocchio.
I never did either.
Creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of that. But it is a pretty decent morality play on, going after all the things that you want and then be careful what you wish for, because it never works out that way. So it's kind of a good lesson. But yeah, I was never a giant fan of Pinocchio. But I like Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Geppetto, it seems like it'd have a lot of draw to it, but when I think of Pinocchio, most of the movie does not feature Geppetto as a character. And so,
I so wish I had the email. I saved it because it was like really crazy. But there was a lady, because we talk about Disney here and there and stuff, and there are obviously people inside of the church that are boycotting Disney because of their LGBTQ support and things like that. And so I understand that. Like, I totally get that. But this lady was just righteously indignant with me. Why would you, as a Christian radio host, support the godless Disney? And she just went off on me and how horrible I am for doing this stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, lady. Again, Potties, we love you. Thank you for letting us have normal conversations.
Well, and I think some people in their spiritual journeys, walks, lives, whatever you want to call them, some people do better when they just completely separate themselves from anything that's considered ungodly. Yeah. And then others are able to tote the line and figure it out.
And here's the thing, too, because I've talked about
one is not
this.
better than the other. It's just different.
What makes it the problem is when you assign your stuff and you put it on somebody else that they have to believe and subscribe the way you believe, and if you do not, then you're evil. Like, that's where it crosses the line.
Because you're not the one to judge.
Right. That's where it crosses the line. Like, so for me, I've talked about very openly, I don't like Disney's stance on LGBTQ and how they're forcing it into their content with children, like stuff aimed at children. I think that's jacked up. I think it's really irresponsible to tell 5-year-old kids, 8-year-old kids that you can choose your gender and have your body mutilated. Like, I think that is really not good. I'm very clear about that, but inside of this, like, I look at everything piecemeal. Like, I'm not that person that just cancel cultures everything. So I look at what I support and what I don't support. So the movies, like the Lightyear movie, I didn't go see Lightyear, because I didn't like that they were putting the LGBTQ message into kids' programming. And that's my right. And I can say that. I have my right to not go see it. And I can tell you why I don't want to go see it. And it's okay. I'm not a bigot. I'm not a hate monger. I don't hate people that are gay or trans or whatever. I feel bad for them, honestly. But then inside of that, like, I still go to the parks. Now, there were rumors a long time ago, and there's been all these stories like, okay, now they've changed the parks, and if you're a man, you can wear a girl's outfit, and a girl's uniform if you want to now. And theoretically, I think that is true, but I've never seen it. I've never seen the fear of everybody like, oh, and what about the bathrooms? Pretty soon they're going to be genderless. Like, no, they're still men, they're still women. Like, if they get to that point, then I would probably say, yeah, I'm done. That's their last straw, their last bastion that agrees with me. Like, but I've watched kids and just, they're not aware of any of this nonsense politically, and they're just enjoying it, and it's pure. Like Paul said in the Bible, to the pure, all things are pure. And so until they, at the parks, do something that crosses my boundaries, then I still go, but I leave it open for my ability to affect change is commerce with them. And if I don't go because, they don't align with my beliefs, it hits the bottom line. That's the only way you hit companies that aren't Christian companies or any company. It's like that's how you support or not support them. And so you have the right to do it. I just choose to do it a little bit more selectively and support the things that they are doing that's good. Because no one's 100% bad, except Hitler, Very few people are, or very few organizations are 100% bad. They might not do everything you agree with or subscribe to as a believer. And that's just normal. That's life. But it doesn't mean that everything they do is bad either. Like, they do a lot of work with the Special Olympics. Like, so do you want to just not... Like, when you say, well, I'm not going to support them anymore because of the LGBTQ, well, then you also then are taking away funding from other things that they support that are great. So it's really... It's really a double-edged sword on that kind of stuff.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But you're like, cancel them all.
No, I'm saying, I feel like the same could be said for if you're not supporting Disney, then you're letting go of the Special Olympics or whatever. I think that's a murky
But
battle.
It's truth.
It's
truth. You are affecting. I'm not saying that that's the justification for staying in there, but it is. There's two sides to the story. Like, when you cancel this, you're also canceling good things that somebody did. It's kind of like you. Like, you're not perfect as a person, and there are things that you do that people would like and agree with, and there are people that are not going to like you and not going to agree with you. But it doesn't make you holistically a bad person. It just means that I support this part of you or not this part of you.
Yeah, but like what you were saying with the whole not going to see the Buzz Lightyear movie or whatever, and that's your right. But the same people can say the same thing about just saying no to Disney, and that's their right.
Absolutely, and you can. And I have zero problem with that. If somebody says, I'm not going to give them a dime of my money because of this one issue, you can do that. Okay, that's fine. Zero problem. But don't make me the villain in this Disney story because I choose to not do that. That's the thing. Disney paid me a lot of money for a lot of years. I have a really great life and a great retirement because of them. Like, they're one of the only reasons that I will be able to retire and not work till I'm 80 because of the money I made while I worked there. It was a great experience for my wife when she worked there. My daughter is currently working there, and she's having a good time, and she's enjoying it, and she's not seeing all of the because these are the things that make the news, but they're not the things that happen every day in the thing. And so that's why people they go off half-cocked and they get mad about the headline and they don't do the research, and that's I think my frustration inside of it. But
okay.
Anyway, let's do some birthdays. You got any for me?
I do. Let me pull them up. Hold up.
Oh, pulled a Gavin.
Let's see. We've got...
It's been a while.
I know, but because it's not normally your job.
No,
but
true.
It is hers.
Pastor Gabriel wants to wish his beautiful wife,
PG.
Roxy, a happy birthday. They're celebrating 9 wonderful years of marriage.
Congratulations.
So we're a little late to the party, but happy anniversary. Drake wants to wish his wife, Eliza, a happy birthday, saying she's a wonderful mother and wife. She has a beautiful smile, and she's not afraid to speak her beautiful mind.
Nice. I love that.
You could take that either way.
Yeah.
Hadassah and Abigail want to wish their dad, Mike, a happy birthday, saying that Dad has always been a great parent and really funny. He loves golden retrievers, good music, and funny stuff. We like to call him a human jukebox because he can hear anything and have a song for it.
Very good. Yeah.
Let's see. The question is, if God allows us, when we get to heaven, to ask him one question about anything, what would you ask him and why?
There's a ton of biblical questions to ask. Obviously, what did you write in the sand with the story of the people that wanted to stone the lady caught in adultery?
True.
That's one that I definitely want to know.
But one question.
My first question, 100%, is going to be, why? Like, we on Earth are trying to create factories and cars and everything that we make. We want it to have zero emissions. Why did you make people and make them so they have emissions and make us toot. Like, there's no point for it. Like, you could have designed the body in any way, shape, or form. Not only did you make toots loud and audible, you also make them smelly. Like, why? That didn't have to happen.
Could have just been a very natural, like it exits and nobody has to know.
Could have evaporated through our skin and nobody knows. It doesn't have to.
Every time we breathe out.
Yeah, you did this. So either you have a really funny sense of humor, because I don't think you didn't see this coming. Like, so you either have a really funny sense of humor, or you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna curse them with this as well. Like, I'm fascinated as to why he chose that.
It is so normal for us. Like, we very much accept it, but
kids laugh about it.
But it is a question mark of the original creation,
right?
Because it doesn't make sense if you think about.
You were making something. Yeah. You could have made it any way you want, any system. Yeah, we still have to eat. Okay, fine. Like, you made us have to eat. We didn't have to eat. You made it that way, and so then you made our bodies process this food.
What goes in must come out.
Yeah, you could have made it a lot of different ways, man. Like, why? Why would you do this?
Wow, I didn't see it going that way. I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah. So what's yours?
I would want to ask, like, what's the purpose of roaches? Like, I'm sure that...
Just say that for all bugs, though. Cause
bugs in general, but there are purposes to some, because I know they're going to be like people like, well, spiders help with
pollination.
Taking care of blah, blah, blah. I don't care. They're butt ugly, and I hate them.
Roaches don't do anything. You're right about that.
But roaches are gross.
They just survived the apocalypse.
Flies, like those little green ones.
Maggots.
Yeah.
Amen.
Like, I know that they probably help with something, but I don't care.
Right.
What's the point?
They're here because sin. They're here because of sin. It entered the world.
And if I couldn't get that one answered, I'd want to know, what's your favorite thing about cats?
Oh, yeah. I thought you could say about me. Like, what's your favorite thing about me?
You don't think God's like a dog lady? Or
dog lady?
What?
A dog person?
A dog man. A dog person.
He could
I was thinking
be, but
of
I
cat
don't
lady.
He could be, but I don't care about dogs. I care about cats.
I know.
Because cats don't have a purpose either, except to be cute. Mm-hmm. And I want to know, what's your favorite thing about them?
Yeah. Gavin?
I'd want to know what really happened to the dinosaurs.
Sure.
If we go down that route of the ark and two of every blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And maybe that's just part of the scripture that is worded in a way that we're not supposed to totally understand. But if that's exactly how it was supposed to be, you'd think maybe the dinosaurs would have hopped
I do
on
always
board.
wonder that, too, because we have skeletons.
Fossils.
Like, they were here. Like, there was something here, like, of this size and this magnitude. How do they fit into the creation story, like, seamlessly? And it's a kind of a murky thing. People are like, well, there's versions of dinosaurs today, like alligators were like, okay.
And evolution.
But where'd
and
that T-Rex go?
Yeah.
What happened to that dude?
Like,
he was gone long before, but then you're like, well, wait, long before. Now you're getting into like evolution
how
and
old is the
theistic
Earth?
evolution, right?
All that stuff, and
it opens so many doors.
Like, I'm glad they're not around.
Yeah.
I've watched Jurassic World, greatest movie trilogy of all time, especially the last
disagree wholeheartedly.
But I think our world is much better currently without them.
Also, too, I have read before that in the creation, the story of creation, that when it says, and the next day God created blah, 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 it could have been like, it says day, but there's other verses that are like a day to us.
That's called the day-age theory, and that a day could be 1,000 years.
Right.
And so then you get into theistic evolution, and there's so many. Boy, people get so worked up about all this stuff, and they're like,
honestly, we won't know until we get there.
Yeah,
the average person won't know.
That's where
scientists might have ideas.
They have ideas, but their theories sometimes aren't always right. Yeah. I just always like look at this stuff, and I go, I've come to the point where I don't know, and I have to be okay with not knowing, and I have to also be okay like with the point of like, okay, God, did you take 1,000 years between days making this stuff, and you didn't just snap your fingers and it was, and I'm fine with that. Like if He tells me that's how I did it, it doesn't shake my faith. It doesn't undermine the Jesus part of anything. It's like, oh, okay, I could see that. Like when I build something, I want to sit there and look at it and enjoy it for a minute. So did you take time to create these things and just love them? Now, again, you could have spent a little more time on the human body and made it zero emissions, but fine, maybe that was a rush. You snapped
back to
millions of years to figure out dinosaurs and the planet Earth and all that.
And then,
like, I'm gonna let
last
this one
second
pass.
he's like, and I'll make
literally. Nicely done. I think that is the perfect out for our podcast today. And thanks for being a potty.